Hello, everybody. I just received an email there this morning. I received a few emails from students of psychotherapy, and normally to do with their thesis. Um, and a very interesting email I received there earlier on would be something that I'd be fascinated in doing a video on. So that's why I said I'd jump on straight away. It's about when a therapist is in training and they're about to leave the college and they're going into the world, they're flying the nest, so to speak. It's terrifying. It's very difficult. I know certainly when we were coming to the end of our course, I trained in Gardner Street in Dublin Council and Therapy Centre, and they're amazing, absolutely amazing place to train. I know there's a lot of really good schools out there, but I found that place to be excellent. Um, and they listen completely to you. So at the end of our training, we were asked, is there anything you'd like to change on the course? Is there anything you'd add? And one of the things we said actually is what this email was addressing. We felt there wasn't enough, and there isn't enough, in my opinion, in any training institution around what happens after your training when you go out into the world and you're actually a therapist. So things, really questions around what this person has contacted me with, and I'd just like to say hello, James. Thank you for your email. Um, just in relation to what we do, how do we get there? What's the plan? It's such a horrible place to be when you don't know what you're doing. You're really trying to read. So I done a huge amount of work myself when I was setting up, and figured out stuff a lot myself. I would say to you to try and connect with different groups. So a lot of groups on social media. I'm not a fan of any particular one social media, but I would say to you to search out ones that have therapist groups in it. Try to get yourself involved. It's usually looking for, they ask you very specific questions to become a member, but once you're a member, then it's a very good. There's really good advice coming from all these other therapists that are from just fresh out and therapists that are there years. So it's well worth getting yourself involved in something like that. So I'll just go through the questions. So how do you source your clients? So when when you leave the training, you normally have your dissertation done, and that's your focus. You usually have something very interested in. And I would say if your focus is around something like addictions or something like that, well, if you're willing to take on people with addictions, and if you're trained, obviously, to deal with that, that's where your niche should be. If not, then your niche might be to do with bereavement and stuff, depending on what you're very comfortable with. If it's all, it's all. And the reason I'm saying to try and pick a niche is because it's really important for advertising that when people are trying to find you, that they see, oh, this is James. He's focused. He's working in the area, and he works with bereavement. Let's say, for example, and they'll reach out to you. So that's how you get your niche and how you get your clients. So you can also advertise. To be honest, I spent a huge amount of money when I was setting myself up to try and get advertised and try and get people to notice me. And I put money into website designs. I put money into advertise myself in the local papers. I have advertisements on the internet. Everything. I spent very lot of money, and I did up billboards and everything to, because I'm very interested in group therapy. So I was advertising in different towns, and for all the money, like I mean thousands, I'd spent, I got nothing back. What I did get back was, if you set yourself up with like a Facebook, an Instagram, a TikTok, all the socials at the moment, all the common socials, and set yourself up and just try to do, on YouTube for example, and try to do psychoeducation videos. Get your name out there that way, that people are, that you're seen to be approachable, that people will say, oh, actually I could work with that person. And just get yourself out there into the world to let people see, well, this is the person I'm going to be sitting across in the room. I could trust them. I like the way they talk. I like the way they think. They give me the right information, whatever that is. If you're doing TikTok videos, decide, are you going to make them funny? Are you going to make them educational, interesting? What do you want your TikTok videos to say about you? YouTube videos, etc. So you don't necessarily source your clients, they source you. Or you can also work for voluntary organisations like Pietas, SOSAD, Samaritans, whoever, if they're taking on newly qualified people. Now they do. I know for a fact they do because I worked with them. So it's worthwhile getting your name out there and getting people to know the area and stuff like this wherever you want to work. So can you make a living from the work? You can actually. Initially, it's quite hard. So if you're depending on what you want to do, every therapist is different, same as every client is different. So I know people left with us, we all left together, and some decided they only wanted to do a couple of hours, 2, maybe 3 hours a week. That was their choice. They also kept the job that they had going, which is probably a very, very good idea. Keep a job if you can reduce the hours down, maybe go part-time and do this part-time in the start if you don't want to go into private practice completely. Me, I took the dive. I just jumped off the cliff and I went into private practice. I put 100% of myself into the setting up my business, setting myself up, putting myself out there into the world. Very, very expensive when I started out. Couldn't make any money for the first 2 years, and into the third year, then my caseload filled, and I mean filled. I'm basically at the stage now. I'm refusing. I can't take any more people. I'm turning people away. So, depending on what you want to do, design yourself what way you want to work. If you're doing private practice like me, I decided private practice was my thing. I don't really like working for anybody. I'm very odd. So I'm my own boss. I decide. So I work out my own stuff. I have an accountant, and I decide, well, um, you know, I'm going to work. I only work Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and I'll work from morning till night, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But I won't work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. That means that I work 3 days really, really hard, and then the rest of my week is off, and my weekend always free. So that was my choice, and my choice was based as well around the fact that I've worked shift work all my life, and I don't want to work that anymore. I don't want to do. I'm very well able to work 12-hour shifts if I want to in a day. That's fine, but I'm not going to do nights and I'm not going to do weekends anymore. So that's what I came out with my plan. This is what I want. So what do you want to go into when you leave? Do you want to work part time? Do you want to work full time? Do you want to do now, having a little thing on the side is really helpful to have some income coming in, but if you want to do private practice, if you're working shift, because I did when I started out, I was in my shift and I'd reduced my hours drastically, but it came to a stage where you can't take the same days off every week, and it becomes quite difficult. If you're in a specific job that you just work, let's say you work a Friday and a Monday every week, brilliant, that might work for you. Let me see what's the next question. I hope I answered that question. Do you or can you advertise yourself, and can you charge, and if so, how much? Yeah, so you can absolutely advertise yourself. I do advertise myself. I have cards. I got myself cards, and the reason I get the cards, this can be really helpful. I buy cards I don't really use them that much, but every year or 2 years, and what I do is I'll print off a letter to all the doctors in my area, and I'll reply to them. Now I'm at the stage where I'm thanking them. I say thank you very much for your sending your clients to me over the last year. Here's more cards just in case you run out of them. And the doctors love this because I've been contacted fairly regularly and asked, do you have any more cards? So once you set them out there, these are my cards. The doctors have something then that they can hand to the patient. Ring this lad. Now the patient, like everyone, they may not just leave the doctors and go. It does happen. They can leave the doctors and ring you straight away, but most of the time they hold on to the card for a little while longer. It could be a year, it could be 2 years. That's fine. That's okay. But at least you know that down the line that person's going to ring you. So, do you charge? Can you charge, and how much? You can charge. You can charge basically anything you want. What I would say is look at the local area. Go to the first of all, without doing any of that. First of all, you want to know how much do I need. So we have to pay supervisor fees. We have to pay insurance. We have to pay rent. In some places I don't. I have built my own place at the back of my home. So I'm working from home at the back, but I don't pay rent. You have to pay electricity, you have to pay bills, you have to expense, you have to have the cost of living. What does it cost you on a daily basis to live? Then how many clients do you need to pay those bills? And that's how you know how much you need to charge. Now, I know when we were leaving, there was a lad, he was not in our class, but we'd been told of a story of this person who'd left and said, I'm going to charge 150 per client. That's fantastic. You might get one client. If you're really, really lucky, you might get one client. So you have to be really realistic. At the end of the day, we have to value the amount of training we go through. You have to value it. You have to look at how much years you've put in, 4 years in your course. You've huge amounts of overheads. You probably have to pay back a loan for doing the training. So be realistic. So look at your area, and my area, the average 50, 60, 70, depending. So I hit myself right in the middle. So I do between 60 and 70. So, and then you're going to do weekly sessions, fortnightly sessions. If and really, what's happening in the world now is because people are struggling. People are kind of opting for fortnightly sessions. So you're doing fortnightly sessions to 60, or you're going to bring the fortnightly sessions up a little bit, which is what I'd advise. And the reason I'd say that is because if you can't fill the following fortnight, you're losing money. Even though you're not making a huge amount of money on the extra 10, you're still losing money on the week you're not getting a client to fill that slot. Ultimately, ideally, you want to have a fortnightly. How many fortnightly sessions are you willing to give? Let's say you have 5 in a week. So you have 5 this week and 5 next week. So that's 10 clients. This is all worth thinking as well, because although you've only doing 5 sessions, it's still 10 clients, and we carry our clients with us all the time. So if you have 20 sessions in a week and they're all fortnightly, you're carrying 40 clients. So it's all worth asking yourself, is it, what am I able to do here? So your price basically is look at your local area and consider your own overheads. What money do you need? How long does it take to build up a client base? On average, 3 years. Late on 2.5, you'll start to see some change. 3 years, you should be fully established. So if you want to keep your part-time job to allow yourself to work it out, unless you're going into a job, unless you're moving from training into a centre where they're going to pay you, they're going to provide you with clients, and they're going to provide you with a room, absolutely fine. You'll make a fairly decent living there. As I said, I couldn't work under someone. I can't do that. I've worked so long in my life to be under people, and I'm just not able to do it anymore. So I decided this is what I want. Let me see. Here's the last question. Is it? Yep. Can you approach other people in the area and have some overflow of the way? That's a brilliant question. So that's something I did as well. So what I did was I tried to set up a local therapist network. And that way I reached out to all the therapists that I'd access to. So I went through IACP, IHIP, any of the organisations for accreditation, and I found who was in my area, and I wrote their name and address down, and I wrote to each of them. I only got 2 people back, which is really unfortunate, but that's, as therapists, were a bit odd. But I only got 2 people back, and one person contacted me very nicely but wasn't available to meet, but did refer people to me. So I would say to you to try and get in contact with the local area therapists, because yes, there's going to have overflow. They've already turned people away, and I've made contact with a student up here who I have every intention to refer on to them when they're qualified. So yeah, it really is worth it to reach out and try and find a local area. And this is information here, James, that I struggled really hard to get there, to get to this place. So it is hard work. Like, it's not easy, and it's hard work to get this business established. If you're working for yourself, I wish you the best luck. If you need any more support or help, do reach out. I'm very, very glad you did send me this email. And it would be something I would be interested in if there are other students, if they have any questions and they'd like me to put up a video helping them. If this has been helpful, I'm very happy for you. If you have anything you'd like me to add, or if you have any criticisms or questions, please let me know in the comments, or you can email me. There's no problem. Anyway, thank you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.